Oh, hey! Welcome to my talk on everything XR in China. Let's get it started. My name's Nikk Mitchell. I'm coming to you almost live from Hangzhou, China. I was born in Kenya, grew up in Canada, and I've been in China for the past 14 years, 8 of them in VR. Oh, in China, this means 8. It's weird. They have hand signals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Isn't that cool? You can do all your numbers on one hand. Anyways, I've been living here for a long time. I speak Mandarin. I'm deep in the industry. I've been doing VR for a long time. I'm blessed to be the CEO of FXG, a super cool studio. And yeah, I want to tell you my story as I've seen it in VR in China. And before that, I want to start with the history. VR isn't new anywhere in the world. We know it's got over half a century of existence, but in China, it didn't come as earlier. Half a century ago, things were really different in China, but at the end of the 20th century, people began to get into VR. And as you can see here from Professor Wang, he was one of the early adopters who traveled abroad. He was inducted into VR and he started experiencing VR before the year 2000. So it did exist in some small senses. But it was super small. Professor Wang's an example, and there are many others like him across China who experienced VR, who experimented with VR, but it was in a small selection of universities and military use cases until Oculus came. That's me over there, back before the gut. And you can see this was in 2013 at the beginning of, as the worldwide kind of new wave of VR hit. It also hit China, but a lot smaller and a lot slower. 2013, I was watching a video on YouTube by Cymatic Bruce. It blew my mind. I threw my mobile game company out the window, started a VR community with my friend, and I went 100% into this industry in China. At that time, it was super small. The industry originally, or it wasn't an industry, the community as it was in the dozens of people and slowly grew to hundreds of people. And there were no businesses, no companies. It was just a bunch of hobbyists, fans who really loved it. Pretty much only boys. Actually, I remember the first girl who joined our community was a big deal for everybody because up until then it was just a bunch of guys. Really just a community of passionate hobbyists. One company existed, Ant VR. If you've followed VR in China for a while, you know they used to be called Ain't VR because a lot of people didn't like them. But they were awesome, coming in super early. They didn't do their best, but it was great to see Chinese companies beginning. But that changed. I remember at the beginning of 2014 at Unite, there was almost no VR companies, the Unity Expo. It was Oculus and Ant VR. That changed significantly. When Oculus bought Facebook, that was like a ka-ching, and everybody heard it. Like, wow, there is money to be made in VR. This is something huge. And at the same time, almost the same time as Facebook bought them, everybody saw there's money there. Oculus stopped shipping to China and open sourced the DK1. So it was a combination of opportunity that really everybody went and took. And it was crazy. The boom of 2015 in China, I believe, was bigger than anywhere in the world. VR was everywhere. You'd see it in malls, you'd see it on TV, you'd see it really any place you went. Companies would just throw a VR beside their name and be making huge money. And stocks were going crazy, investments were going crazy. So you can see here in these stats, Storm released like a terrible plastic Google Cardboard product, and their share price went up 2,000%. You see that huge jump. But as you can see from the rest of this statistics, right after 2015, it crashed, and it kept crashing. And now actually the CEO's in prison and they've been delisted. But that's a more deep story. But that really showcases what happened in the industry is it crashed. It totally crashed. All of these companies that just threw a VR to anything, shopping VR, pets VR, karaoke VR, and were getting so much money thrown at them, but there was no technology behind it. There was no content behind it. The world was still using, like, DK2 was almost the best thing there. And these companies had huge money, made crazy stories, were magic leaping all over the place, and nothing came to it, and it popped, and it crashed so hard. Everybody lost money. So many companies went bankrupt, and most people said, like, VR is dead. That's a complete failure. It was like what happened in the 90s if you compressed the entirety of the 90s VR in America into like 12 months in China. As you can see here, this is a lot of cheap copycat DK1s and Google Cardboards with plastic, with all kinds of non-innovations added to differentiate from themselves. Most of these companies probably had million-dollar investments, and I would say almost all of these companies are definitely dead today. But I personally don't think all that is being bad, because those companies deserve to die. They weren't adding to the industry. They weren't creating anything good. They weren't adding anything of value. And so for them to be gone, it actually is a positive, because they were, as Lucky says, poisoning the well with all of this garbage. And good things happened. Pimax came out with a huge Kickstarter for their 8K content. Pico dropped their first 6-DoF headset. And FXG, the wonderful, wonderful company that I'm coming at you from today, was founded in that dark and lonely winter. So, after that, what happened? Slowly things started coming back. The industry began kind of a general healthy climb, you could say, where companies started growing, content was still developing, the companies that survived didn't go away. Cat VR kept releasing awesome new VR treadmills, and there was a constant supply of innovation and creativity, though there wasn't huge money and huge passion from the industry. Unfortunately, though, the effects of the bubble were really strong. And if you talk to an investor like, oh, I got an amazing VR idea, chances are he invested in something VR and he doesn't want to touch VR again. Clients, you'd say, hey, we can give a VR to you. And they would like have no interest at all. I remember at a meeting when I was showcased it and I took out a headset and I said, I'd love to show you our content, what we could do for you. And one of the people in the meeting said, oh, no, thanks. I've tried VR. And it was like everybody had tried it because it was so hot in 2015 and it was so bad in 2015 that they decided to never try it again. So it was a dark time to really change all of these misconceptions. But slowly and gradually over time, they did change and work was able to be done. Our company grew through this period to over 30 people and the industry started coming back to life. As you can see now, China actually has the biggest spend on VR coming into last year in 2020. And that's huge that we've come to a place where this country has invested in and is investing in more than any other place, which really showcases that it's done a complete turnaround from being in love with VR to hating VR to now coming back to embrace VR and taking it and trying to move forward with it. So where is VR moving forward to in China? What are the next steps? What's going to happen? Many people think that China could be the hottest place for VR in the future. And I think it's very possible for these reasons. Reason one is government support. If you can see that screen in this picture, that is insane. I've never imagined a screen that long. I don't know how big that is, 30 meters or something. And that was just one of the conference rooms at the Nanchang exhibition. They had probably 10 different rooms like this with hundreds of speakers from all over the world, a huge expo center like E3, all funded by the government. So my company's paid there every year to go. I get paid as a speaker. I get huge space, and so many other people do, which I'm sure of. That is the highest budget conference in the world, and it's paid for 100% by the government. Not only do they love VR from an investment point, but government officials have taken an active stance to embrace it and to promote it. This picture here is with me and Premier Li Keqiang showing him a VR headset. And the fact that the second person, basically the vice president of China, would be interested to come to a VR company and would want to try on a VR headset, that really shows that from the very top of the government, they're embracing not just new technology, but specifically XR. And to more of a tangible benefit that really has helped me so much is investment in parks, and specifically Dreamtown, where I'm coming to you right now from, a beautiful place, really nice, with the ancient kind of Chinese architecture. We have big buildings, all kind of space. I have over 300 meters with an awesome film studio and so much, and we pay under $2,000 a month, which is huge. And this year we should be getting a couple $100,000 in research rebates for all the money that we've spent into developing our cameras and technology. So with government doing so much like that, that really helps. I don't think I could have 30 plus people in a company spending so much time and energy on research and development if I had to handle all of these expenses myself. If I didn't have R&D rebates, it wouldn't happen. The second reason why China has the opportunity to really be hot for VR is the ability for this country to embrace new things. Instant mobile payment has become the norm. I haven't touched any money, actually, at all in this entire year. It's in 6 months in this year, I haven't touched any money, and I haven't sent or received a single text message from anyone I know. Money's gone mobile. All sorts of communications have switched to mobile, to the internet, which it exists in the West. You guys have Facebook, you have Apple Pay, but yet still people use cash. People still send text messages. People still call, which in China, they just skipped it because they see something good and they want to go right for it. And the third reason is the entire industry's embracement of XR. This is happening a little bit in the West now with Facebook, Apple soon, but in China, it's happening at another level. Huawei's 3DoF glasses, now they're coming out with 6DoF. Oppo's got an AR headset. Tencent, we just worked on one of their biggest IPs, and they had us film a 40-episode series for a reality TV show, which was huge with millions of viewers for one of their biggest IPs. And the fact that all of this is happening showcases this huge investment from the government to industry to really embracing VR. So I want to end with, what can you do? How can you be involved in Chinese VR? And I got 2 simple steps. The first one, for content creators out there, get your content into China. This market's growing so quickly, and they have an insatiable appetite for all kinds of content, from games to films. Really, they need VR content. And it's not to the level of Oculus, where you can put it on the store and make a huge amount of money from players, but it's growing there with the Pico Neo 3. But currently, these platforms are paying for money. So if you have content, bring it to China. Make sure to get it localized. And if you don't know how to get it into China, hit us up. We can promote it, localize it, and get you paid for it. Email us, info@FXG. And second, partner with Chinese companies. You don't just need to think about bringing your stuff here. Maybe you want to bring something out of there. Or maybe you can combine what you're doing with what someone else is doing. The market is so hungry for expansion and for new things. So take a look, learn more about Chinese companies, see one that meshes with you, hit them up, and yeah, break that cultural barrier, make a new friend, and maybe find some great business opportunities, because I guarantee you Chinese companies would be super open to it. Last, I want to end with a quote from one of the legends of VR in China. This guy began in VR at the end of last century. So keep an eye on China, keep an eye on FXG, and thank you so much. Hit me up on Twitter, FXGVR, and Nikk Mitchell. And if you have any more questions, I have so much more I wanted to share, but 15 minutes is only 15 minutes. So let's keep the conversation going. Have a good one.